and the timers. So he's on my tuning, that aspect of it. I'm probably more on the maintenance side, changing the oil, changing the plugs, refueling, putting the battery in, and such. But yeah, we've kind of got a routine, and it's a pretty good one, I'd say.
That's excellent. Yeah, well, it works. And, it's so nice having someone, like a husband, helping you with that. There's that trust factor that you don't have to, to me, I think that would be paramount. I would like that even better than, having somebody else. But whatever, that's cool stuff.
Well, yeah, let's face it, you have somebody that close to you on your team there. I can imagine there could be some pretty interesting dinner table conversations when things don't go quite right.
Right. Again, Christian's asking again if he said that he was amazed that the top ends of those motors are greased. They don't have oil. He's curious if you still pack the heads with grease. Is that something you know about?
Yeah, we grease the rocker. Yeah.
Okay. Good. Yeah, you got it right. He's an engine builder. He's an inside guy, so he knows all of that tech. He's the the guy actually building that stuff for the team. So that's where his angle comes in. So it's cool stuff.
Yeah, we grease the heads on them, and I want to make sure I get the right terminology. And I don't mean to sound not confident with my speak, but honestly, this year I've really been able to relax in my being able to ride that motorcycle. Mm-hmm. And everything has really settled in and second nature, that I'm starting to learn more about, the motor side of it and the stuff that he's been so focused on all these years. So, I'm not a technician, mechanic by trade by any means. I just have a love for...
No. You know more than most, and let's face it. I don't want to take anything away because you have a big job to do with straddling that thing and getting on it and going down the track. That is a monumental task.
She's walking the walk. She ain't talking the talk.
Absolutely. So questions like this just come up because guys are a lot of guys are gearheads.
We're just a bunch of wrench heads. Yeah,
But, riding that bike down the track is something. Janette, I don't want to keep you too much longer. I know you have an event to do. How can people find out more about you or get in touch with you? Is there any contact information you want to put out? Throw it out there, please.
Well, like I mentioned, and thank you for the heads up on my website. It is live. We're kind of still fine tuning some of it, but the Dream Chaser Racing, and that's RACIN.com, is live. It does have my race schedule listed. So you'll be able to see where we're running and when. And by all means, please look me up on Facebook. I do keep that well up to date. And, as I'm racing, I try to, keep my fans informed of where we are in qualifying and running and all that stuff. So it's and that's Dream Chaser Racing, and then a hyphen, and then my first name, last name, which is Janette, and it's Janette Thornley, Thornley.
Excellent.
You'll see the blue motorcycle, listed. If you don't see a blue motorcycle, it looks like a drag bike, then didn't quite find my page.
Right, just the red background. Yep, got it.
Right. Yeah, we'll get a link up on our page as well.
Fire that up. Yeah,
and we'll do that.
Well, that's awesome.
Ain't no missing that bike,
fellas.
Right. Oh yeah,
Janette,
thank you. We'll be following you.
Thank you for spending some time with us. I know you got to get back to what you're doing. You're busy at an event, and people want to see you. So that's that's why they're there. So we'll let you go. We'll let you get back to that, and then we'll hopefully be in touch and speak again in the future.
Well, we, again, much appreciated, and you guys have a great day.
Great talking to you.
Have a great, safe rest of the season, Janette, and kick some butt and win.
Okay.
Go for it.
All righty.
Take care.
Bye-bye. That was Janette Thornley from...
That's impressive. You wouldn't get me on that thing.
No, that is very impressive. It's cool. So let's take another break. We'll
that's
go
like something Wile E. Coyote would ride.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
I know. And it gets wilder than that. Let's get into...
for Acme parts on the side of the bike here.
Acme.
Oh, yeah, there's a little Acme sticker right there. Okay.
Let's get into the broadcast booth a little bit, and we will be back with more MotorMouth Radio. Ray Guarino, Joe D, and Mike Jr. in with us. Keep it where you got it. We'll be back in a bit.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a song. This is a thread. Yeah.
bass on this track is played by a monkey.
American Hit Radio, Wednesdays and Fridays at 5 p.m. on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Okay, listen up, class. Beginning in 2017, we will be meeting at a new time, so don't forget.
Forget what?
That the Unforgettables will now be on the air from 9 to 11 p.m. Saturday nights.
Ah, forget about it.
So then you won't forget?
Forget what?
That the Unforgettables will now be on from 9 to 11 p.m. Saturday nights.
Excuse me? I forgot what the class is about.
The Unforgettables, as always, has been about celebrating the great American popular songbook, the vocalists, musicians, and songwriters. We not only play their music, but oftentimes a legendary name or newcomer to the scene will join us for an interview. So don't forget to tune into the Unforgettables every Saturday night at 9 on the Voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.
Whoa, hey man, I think I'm in the wrong classroom.
That's the classroom of MotorMouth Radio. If you hear those pipes crackling, the nitro burning, the head is slapping.
That means I probably messed something up and I got to go back.
There'll be some rubber burning soon. You are back with MotorMouth Radio. Your host, Ray Guarino, Joe D, Mike Jr., and we're going to get back after our great interview with Janette Thornley. Make sure you check her out at Dream Chaser. What's her website, Joe?
DreamChaserRacing.com.
Thank you. I get tongue-tied.
And she's also on Facebook under that same thing.
Right. We were kind of taken up with the racing thing, but now we'll get back to some diagnostic stuff. Mike, you had an issue with your car, and as a caveat to that, you have a new business venture going on. You're going to be doing some business stuff. I don't know if we're going to break that news yet, so we can just leave it at that. But we were talking about what scanners that would be necessary for a shop to have who wants to do diagnostic work, and I said, boy, who better than Joe to talk to about that? Yeah. Did you get any direction yet, or are you still kind of
any sage advice, or was the babbling and drooling just too incomprehensible?
No, it's all good advice. You know, you showed me what they do, and we even saw that one of them had a little hiccup and didn't really do what it was told. So
right,
we learned from that. I definitely learned from that.
Yeah, well, basically, what happens with scanners, it depends on what level you're gonna what field you're playing in. Mm-hmm. Some guys get by with the little red $29.95 jobbies, which I just hate them because they screw with you on so many levels. And of course, the way to fly is if you had a factory scan tool for every vehicle that you worked on. But that unless you're like a mobile tech or you've got a really big shop, that's just nuts. Pretty much. I carry around 5 different aftermarket scanners in addition to whatever factory stuff I have. Yeah. I mean, you saw me running in and out of the truck. Try this one here. Ray goes, "Hey, you got a timing light?" Yeah. Well, right. I'm sorry, the bulb didn't work.
Have a cup of coffee.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Joe, can I have a donut while you're there?
Yeah.
Can you bake me that muffin, man? Heat it up in there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There are certain things that are cooking in there. I really got to look at that electrical issue someday.
Yeah, I know.
But no, when it comes to scanners, you do definitely want to have something that's not quite so. You want to have something that goes with your level of expertise,
right?
And hey, I gotta go fix that flashing light now, I guess, huh?
All right, let's fix this. We'll push that button that fixes it, and we'll say hi. You're on with the Motor Mouths.
You got me again. What's up,
Christian?
Woo-hoo.
Yes. What's up for round 2? Shoot.
What's up for round 2? We were talking about nitromethane in those motorcycles, and it's amazing how dangerous it is, because I've been at the starting line when heads have blown off, and it's really.
You mean
powerful.
on the bikes, right?
Yeah, it wasn't talking about Al Qaeda.
Thank God.
No, it's really like what she was like. Why they wear the Kevlar vest? How important it is with the strapping the heads down and everything. But the thing, like with
I wear that dealing with customers.
They're still running a quad cam based motor. And like we were talking about Bob Spina running an old iron head. The motors today, how many years later, are still based off of that platform.
Right.
Because that's what's worked the best. And because there's no oil in the top end, there's no push. You could literally watch the push rods. They're just push rods hanging right out there. So, you got push rods that have no covers over it. So when you're at the starting line, you could watch everything going. I've been there, done that. And it's amazing because, I always thought about a push rod flying out. It could be like a spear.
Why don't they cover them? Why don't they put them in push rod tubes like on a production street bike?
I don't know. There's no oil going to the top end, so the heads are literally just packed with grease.
Let me ask you this. Why don't they oil the top ends?
I just think it's because it's such a short pass that there's no necessity, and it's just less oil to be pumped all over, and for it to return.
Okay.
To return that oil from the top end to the bottom end just creates more drag. So the more oil you get in and out, the more power it'll make.
I wonder who thought of that. I wonder who the first guy was to do that, to say, hey, let's just kill the oil to the top end and make a pass.
Well, they were doing that from the early 1900s when everything was just kind of hand oiled, There was a little squirt there, and they kept it going,
But they weren't going 200 miles an hour.
But I'm sure guys were blowing heads off, and it was just creating a mess. There's a lot of factors, I guess, but really, if you think about 7 seconds and a quarter miles, as long as you got the grease there on the rockers. But I noticed they even grease the springs, everything. Like the grease kind of just lubricates everything and keeps it cool, and just Do you know what
type of grease they use, Christian?
That I wouldn't know.
Maybe it's a synthetic or something.
Bell Ray or something. It's simple grease. It's just probably a petroleum base for sure.
Well,
synthetic. Because you don't really want to put synthetics down on the track.
I wonder if it's like a wheel bearing type grease that'll stick instead of they'll have some bite instead of
otherwise it might go flying.
Like you wouldn't use white lithium because it would turn to butter.
You got to think about nitromethane and the pressures involved inside that chamber.
Right,
so the pressure on that valve against that spring, against that rocker, it has to be an extreme Timken load of grease. Like the Timken load rating on the grease has to be very high.
Right. So you're saying the old suck squeeze. You say the old suck squeeze bang blow theory has to be optimized.
Yeah, I'm thinking of grease that they probably use in like a backhoe, something that's just slow moving but yet high load.
Or an airplane, maybe aircraft.
Anything like that, yeah. But still, the Nitro Harley, they're still very basic. They're push rod engines.
Sure.
And the thing that gets me is, even in the pits, it's like she's saying that like they service and they do their maintenance and stuff. One of the things with the maintenance is after a pass is done with a Nitro Harley, then the bike goes back to the pits. One of the first things they have to do is pull the plugs out. They put the battery box on, and they crank the motor over to pump out all that leftover nitro that's still inside that chamber. Because if they don't do that, it's all over when they go to fire them up at the starting line the next round.
Bang.
On the Thursday Night Playing in Traffic show a few weeks ago, Janette mentioned that they had that problem. She said, I screwed up. I didn't do that after the run. There was something else that preoccupied her. She broke her regular pattern. It's easy to do, and they didn't. I don't think that caused a total catastrophic failure, but it was like
it'll blow your run
off the line. Off the line, done, and it was over. And then she knew right away. As soon as she knew, damn it! I knew. She was like killing herself because she knew it was.
Very important, because any nitro, the fact that she's saying it's a combustible fuel, is when they fire those bikes up, they fire them up on methanol first. That's why if you watch, you'll see them at the starting line. They'll have like a one of those sprayers that you pump air into, and it'll be filled with methanol. So they'll sit there and they'll squirt methanol, or sometimes they'll have like a shampoo bottle with methanol, which I think is even crazier because it's nice when it's atomized. It'll fire right up. But
same as the top fuel is.
They run it on that methanol just to get it fired up. Once the engine is fired up and running, and then they can introduce the methane or the nitromethane, which is basically a mix of methanol and nitromethane, but it's highly volatile stuff. It's no joke, and you're right. She's straddling herself over a frame with it. An engine that's probably making almost 1,300 horsepower.
She's not. I believe she's at the 500 horsepower level. She said 1,000 was the next level up.
She's pro fuel.
Yeah.
Fuel. Okay.
Now, and for people who didn't understand what you were saying, if you watch any NHRA coverage where the funny car body is up and the guy's there, he's spraying something into the intake hat. That's the starting fluid, right? To get it going, and then they switch over to the nitro.
Same
alcohol.
Thing
same thing with the top fuel.
Yeah, you'll blow it at the bomb. These guys are messing with some serious stuff.
That's why even at East Neck Auto, at John Cretchy's shop, all those years when Billy Lynch would come down and cackle his rail, same thing. They started with alcohol and then boom, flip it over to nitro. He ran nitro.
And there's me and Ray trying to get a whole,
we're sitting there
nostril up each pipe.
Yeah, and they wonder why we got drain baggage.
That is a great smell.
Oh, you know what? It hits. I love it. It just hits the back of your throat and shuts down your respiratory system for a second. You're like, oh yeah,
it's great. Especially when they used to snuff the motors out and you beat Englishtown, they snuff a motor out, and then you see like everyone's all up in there, and all the guys are